welcome to Sestra-Tainment. I'm Lenora.
And I'm Dee.
And we're coming to you today in regards to
Everything Entertainment.
Yeah. All right. So, sis, you are up first this week. What you got?
All right. So, the first thing that I want to talk about is actually a movie that is still in theaters, but you can also buy it in home theater.
Alrighty.
And it is One of Them Days.
Okay.
All right. So One of Them Days features Keke Palmer as Drew. You have SZA, who is Alyssa. Vanessa Bell Calloway, who is Mama Ruth. You have Lil Rel in here. He only makes like a little cameo for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Cat Williams plays Lucky. You have Maud Apatow, who is Judd Apatow's daughter.
Oh.
Who plays Bethany. Patrick Cage plays Manic, and Gabrielle Dennis plays Shayla. Okay. Oh, Janelle James. Janelle James plays Ruby. Okay. So basically what it is you got these two friends, two besties. They're the best of friends.
Okay.
All right. But they're friends and roommates, and they're just trying to get by. It's hard times. They're just trying to get by. But so you got one of them who is an artist. She's really holistic. So she does art. She sells her stuff to make money. And like she does like little tinctures. So she's all very holistic, and that's how she makes her money.
Okay.
The other one is working at something that's like a diner or like a Waffle House type place.
Okay.
But she's trying.
Who?
That was SZA. SZA is the one that's very holistic.
Oh, okay. Got it. All right.
Yeah, Alyssa's character. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And then also Keke Palmer's character, Drew, is trying to move up in the business to become like management for this diner / Waffle House / whatever. Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, so they're working, they're trying to do their best, trying to get by, not doing anything crazy. They end up getting evicted when they have some money problems, right? Mm-hmm. So Drew and Alyssa have the financial problems, and they have a crappy apartment. The ceiling keeps falling on them. Okay. At all times. Mm. Like you just stand there, boom, piece of ceiling fall on you. Like, oh, my head hurts. Yeah, that's literally weird. Like holes in the ceiling. But the one thing that they do have is that they have each other.
Each other. I knew you were going to say that.
They have each other. Yeah. So Drew's trying to move up in the management with the restaurant that she works at. She's trying to prepare for the interview that she has coming up. So this is all she's talking about. Alyssa is asking her question, was like, okay, so, like interview questions like, what do you see yourself bringing special into this company, and blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. So, and then, trying to help her go through the interview questions to make sure, she does her best. And this is a really big interview. This is life-changing. This is going to make or break their living situation.
Okay. Got it.
So as they're doing this, just different stuff keeps happening that just keeps making their day worse and worse.
Oh, gosh.
So Alyssa has his deadbeat boyfriend, right? Now he's mooching off of both of them because he's staying in their apartment, and he is not doing anything, but he's basically using them for. He'll disappear at night.
Okay.
Go do his thing and say he's hanging out with the boys. And then come back in the morning to go to sleep. Mm. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she has a deadbeat boyfriend. He's just basically mooching off of them. And he ends up helping make their day worse. Like, as they're trying to get this money together to, pay their rent. They had to pay by midnight. Mm. So as the day is going on, it's like it kind of reminds me of when on Friday when Day was going around. I mean, not Day. I'm sorry. When what is his name? Debo. When Debo was going around robbing everybody and looking for certain people when he was looking for Craig and Smokey. Towards the end of the movie, this one is like that. It's like looking for So it's like one person is looking for these two girls just to get to get their money. So I mean, I think it's I don't know, it's cute, but it's like a Friday type movie where it's like no matter what we do, something is gonna happen to go wrong. Like we think right when we think we're gonna work it out. So like when they're trying to get their money, they end up going to a payday loan place.
Okay.
Cat Williams is outside, and he's like, "Don't do it if you don't have the money this week. What makes you think you got the money next week? You see, it's like it's a trap. Don't do it." So this is as like they're walking inside. As they're walking in, he's screaming that he's outside banging on the glass, like telling them,
"Don't do it."
Just don't do it. They go to a blood bank. That is a funny and nasty scene in that. That was pretty cute. But yeah, they go through so much. They go through electrocution. They end up having to sell things, which bring them more trouble. They almost die multiple times.
But did you die?
Yeah, right? Almost die. But other than that, it is a cute movie. I think that I'm not going into all the details about exactly what all is going on.
Because it's just a lot that you give away.
Yeah, I don't want to give away the whole movie. But it is a cute movie. And what it is it's just like Friday.
Okay, yeah. Which, I mean, was fun and funny.
Yeah. So it's like a Friday. You got to get your money. You got to come up with some money.
A fun ride, too.
Yeah, but this one is for rent, not for some drugs that you
That's
sell.
true.
You know what I'm saying?
That is true. That is what Friday was about.
Yeah, but no, I mean, everything is really cute. I like how it's all set up. I like how, it's just a regular day, in LA. Just walking around. So that's what it is. But yeah, I like it. If you want to check this out, you can see it in movie theaters. You can rent it at home on different platforms or
Which
to be
way
able
did
to
you
watch it. I did Amazon.
Okay.
I did have Amazon because it was like $6. So that's why I did that. The movie theaters, it's like $12. So why not doing the privacy of your own home for $5, $6? It's $5.99. Yeah. All right. So what do you have next, sis?
So I have on Netflix The Residence.
Okay.
And so I don't even know why I started watching it. I think I knew that I was watching 0 Days still. And I was like, okay, I don't want to watch anything that deep, and that, serious. Like I'm going to be kind of paying attention, but not really paying attention. Okay. So I put on The Residence. And then I'm just paying attention. So I'm I ended up watching something that I'm paying attention to anyway. So The Residence is a dramedy, I guess you would call it. So it's a comedy. I can see that, but it's more of a storyline of a serious situation, which is a death. And then it's all like, I don't know. I feel like it's a comedy, but it has some serious parts to it. So, but I don't know if they even classify it as a comedy per se, but I know.
Tell me what it's about.
Yeah.
I want to know because I want to know if it's something I want to watch.
If it's worth it, right?
Yeah.
And I will say that it is a Shonda Land show. So Shonda Rhimes, she has that contract with Netflix and, the Bridgertons and all that kind of stuff. So she's filling everything out there.
She's helping them pay their bills.
She's helping them pay their bills. Exactly. So it stars the cast. It has really a ton of people in this cast. And what I will say is you will probably, when you're watching, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I know that person. I know their face. I know that person's face. I know that person's face. So you might know more faces than you know actual like actors' names. Okay. But yeah, it's everybody. So we start off with Uzo Aduba. So Uzo Aduba, who's Crazy Eyes from Orange is the New Black, right? So she plays Cordelia Cupp. So she is the main, kind of character in the show, right? Okay. She is an investigator of the murder. Now, interesting fact, Andre Braugher was supposed to play the character that was killed in this. Okay. So he passed away. From Brooklyn Nine-Nine and all of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the black guy who was in those shows. I don't know what else he was. I mean, he's been in everything. So everybody, I think, knows who Andre Braugher is. But anyway, he was supposed to play the character in The Residence. That was going to be his last actual acting gig. And I think they had started to record with him, but then, he passed away. Okay. So he was replaced by Giancarlo Esposito.
Oh, yeah, Giancarlo.
So, and he plays A.B. Winter. So it's interesting because, as soon as I saw him walking around, and The Residence is in the White House. So as I saw him walking around, I said, oh my gosh, this is great. It's Giancarlo Esposito. He's an amazing actor. And in the first 2 minutes, he was dead. So I was like, oh my God, like, how do you kill him of all people from Breaking Bad? Like, you just can't do it. You can't do it. And so then I realized like everything for this show is a look back to what led to that. So he's still acting in it, but at first I was like, "Oh my gosh, if they killed him that fast, he's not gonna
usually
be in the show."
I feel like usually if it's an actor who's like pretty decent, then that means they're gonna bring him back.
Yeah, they're doing the whole like, oh, let's go back.
But
and
I don't know
how
because
it led to somebody wanting to kill
what was
you.
that guy's name? Sam McNeil. What was that guy's name from?
Which show are you
from Jurassic Park?
Oh yeah, from
because I was watching
Game of Thrones. What are you talking about? Jurassic Park? Oh, which show were you watching? I'm sorry. No, I thought you were talking about Ned at first. The actor who played Ned from Game of Thrones, because he died.
The guy from Jurassic
Park, yeah.
Was it Sam? Is Sam?
Sam, I forgot what his last name is, but yeah.
But
Twister, all those movies.
But like that with him, I watched the show. I can't remember what the name of the show was, but he died in the first episode. Yeah, he never came back.
And you were just
I was like, wait, hold on, how does this happen?
Yeah, the main character. Yeah. All right. So then you have Kylie Minogue is in this. Interestingly enough, the singer.
I have no idea what she looks like.
And that's all I know. I don't know the song.
I do know Kylie Minogue. I do like her.
Okay, anyway, so Kylie Minogue is singing. So it's the White House. It's a state dinner state dinner.
Wait, is Kylie Minogue like part of the cast?
Yeah, she's singing. She's actually in the movie. They interview her for the murder. Like, did you do it?
That's what I'm saying.
Kind of
so like,
yeah,
she's
so actually in it.
Cool.
So, because at first they were like, well, Kylie Minogue was performing. And then I was like,
so, I didn't know if she was as herself.
I do think I remember hearing a song that she was singing. And then lo and behold, they like show a camera going over the whole like area where somebody was on the stage and it was her and she was singing. And then as they're trying to investigate who might have killed somebody, they're like, she's like, I don't know these people, basically.
Well, I'm going to kill them.
I don't know.
I'm still waiting for the check.
Exactly. So, because there was a kerfuffle. She was there solely to be an invited guest, but the original person who was invited to perform didn't show. And so they said, we hate to ask you to do this, but would you be interested in performing tonight? So, you have Susan Kelchi. And she played in This Is Us as Sterling K. Brown's wife.
Okay. Yeah.
So she's in here. She's Jasmine Haney. So she's the assistant to Giancarlo Esposito, who is the head usher of the residence. Okay. Which I didn't realize what ushers, like that there were ushers in the White House, but that if you're the head usher, you are the head person in charge of all. It's like the house person. So you're in charge of all of the things that go on in the house. So plumbing, the cook, the chef, you're in charge of the grounds person, you're in charge, but you're not doing it. You are managing everything to make sure that the housekeeping, that everything happens the way that it's supposed to. The
names of things that come up when you have money.
Yeah. So you're the head usher.
You know what I'm saying? You have money and then it's like, oh, no, it's not your assistant, it's your usher.
Yes. And she is the assistant to the usher.
Yeah.
So the assistant usher, I guess, right? So you have Bronson Pinchot, and he was the one from Perfect Strangers. So he's Didier Goddard. So he is the pastry chef on here. You have Randall Park from what is it? Fresh Off the Boat.
Fresh Off the Boat.
Yeah. So the father on there, he's in here.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You have other people.
He's
Jane Curtin.
Detective, right?
Jane Curtin is in here. Yeah, he's the FBI.
Is she the president, Jane Curtin?
No, Jane Curtin is the mother of the president, I believe.
Yeah, who's the president?
If I'm remembering correctly. The president is I think Paul Fitzgerald, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Nah, I don't know who played the president. I think he played the president, maybe.
Did he play the first gentleman?
He was the first gentleman because the president is gay in his first gentleman. This is the first time, I guess, that it happened. So that is Barrett Foa as Elliot Morgan, and you had Perry Morgan. Yes, so the president is Paul Fitzgerald. His brother is Trip Morgan. And his brother comes out, and he walks through the state dinner with like his robe on and his slippers, and
he's like, I don't want to be here.
Well, he wasn't invited. He was like, I wasn't invited, but I had to go to something, so I'm just walking through. Hey, how y'all doing? What's going on? Everybody okay? Yeah. You know, and they're just like, who is this guy walking around?
I mean, hey, you're in my house, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you have Isaac Whitlock Jr. A lot of people know him. He's been in a ton of things. You know his face. He's been in everything from the Five Bloods to The Good Cop to I Care a Lot to, you know, he's just like that guy who's in that thing. You don't know his name, but you know his face, right? Mel Rodriguez, same thing. That guy from, you know, that's always in that thing. The thing I remembered him the most from was The Last Man on Earth. So he was in that. It's just people on top of people on top of people. So anyway, premise of the story is at the very beginning, you have where Giancarlo Esposito, he's just walking through the residence. He's checking everything out. He's making sure everything's going to be perfect for the estate dinner. You see him take a phone call, and you realize he looks very concerned after the phone call. Later on, you hear, when they're talking about different things with this, that he says, I'm going to die tonight. And you're just like, huh? What? Like, how is that even possible, right? So then, fast forward again, first 2-3 minutes, he's dead on the floor of the pool room. And so you're just like, what is going on? They're trying to make it look like it was a suicide because his wrists are slit, but there's not enough blood for it to be that he slit his own wrist. Okay. And there's no knife. So that's what the investigator comes and she's like,
it's not suicide.
Yeah, how can it be suicide? Right. And
he
so
just cut his own throat, cut his own
own wrist. Yeah.
Cut his own wrist and then walked off, put the knife back, and then laid down.
Right, exactly. And so when Uzo Aduba's character, Cordelia Cup, comes, she's like, all right, y'all are so busy chattering about trying to make sure that this thing isn't necessarily something that is anybody in the White House's fault, that it's a suicide. They're trying to make it that so that way it doesn't get into the press and all of that kind of stuff. And so she's like, but y'all aren't realizing the evidence is right in front of you, which is there is no knife right here. If he slit his wrist, why isn't there more blood and why is there no knife? And everybody's like, oh man, you know. Yeah, so and the reason she got pulled into it is because she is the person who, like, internationally can solve all crimes when everybody feels like there's no way you can solve this crime. So there was a crime in Europe, and she was the one who, or maybe it was Australia, but she was the one who figured out who the murderer was. And so based on that, they're like, oh, she's like the Hercule Poirot of, you know, these types of things, you know, from like Murder on the Orient Express for anybody who doesn't know.
Agatha Christie.
Yeah, all of the, Agatha Christie books. So she's going around and really not trusting anybody. So she has the assistant usher kind of just talk through, well, what's his normal schedule? What are things typically like? Who likes him? Who doesn't like him? Those types of things. And then you also have all these side stories. And when I say all, literally, it's all. Like every single character has a side story. Like, the chef was sleeping with the Australian, you know, like, what do you call him? The ambassador or whatever. And so, and he's like, I got diplomatic immunity. And it's like, okay, whatever, you know. You have the fact that there is this lady who is like a waitress at the state dinner. And you're like, oh, she's walking around, she's doing stuff, you know, and the assistant usher is like, hey, don't go up to the third floor. You know, you shouldn't do that, you know, whatever. She's drunk. She's just drunk at work and just walking around with stuff. She done spilled coffee on somebody. Like, she's just like drunk at work. But then she's like, I know something. I saw something. Let me tell you what I found out. But let me tell you what I saw. So it's almost like she was so drunk that she wasn't paying attention, that she might have been seeing some things that were going on that were a little bit out of, you know, alignment, right? And then you have some other woman. Her name is Lily Schumann. She's the person who is supposed to, like, kind of be like the, I don't know if you want to say the voice of like the first gentleman. Okay. And so it's more like, oh, I've instructed him that this Christmas we're not actually going to do, you know, a Christmas themed front room, a stateroom room or whatever. We're actually going to do it as a wellness center. There'll be massage chairs. There'll be this and that. And he's like, okay. Well, I mean, we could give it a try. Like, yeah, we want to switch things up. Why do we want to use the old school way of doing things? You all bring a new administration. And so therefore we don't want to. And they were like, it was a disaster. Like, who wants to go visit the White House to see a spa room? Yeah, exactly, and people want to go to the White House for Christmas to see Christmas trees and the gingerbread house and, all that stuff. And so anyway, it's like all these people in everybody's ear that they don't have any right to be in these people's ears, if that makes sense. You have an absolutely crazy chef. The woman is crazy, like to the point that they're like,
the dude's not the chef.
He's the pastry chef.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then you have the chef. So there's a big debate between the two chefs.
Of course.
And so it's like she's the chef who wanted to do like a flambe on the table. And A.B. Winter, Giancarlo's character, is like, no, you can't do that. It's a fire hazard to do that at everybody's seat at this huge state. That like, no, you can't cut too much stuff on fire, right? Yeah. So then also the pastry set was, I was going to do a flambe as well for the dessert. And they're like, no fires. If she can't have a fire, you can't have a fire, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So he's correcting people. So you're like, are people killing them because of a fire for a pastry or for, a dinner? Yeah. Like, that would be weird, right? But you just don't know. Like,
you don't
know.
Sure.
Why did he end up with a knife in his? Yeah, like he was slit. His wrists were slit, and I think they said that there was a contusion on his head, and it was something else that had happened to him. So it was just like all these weird things that were going on, and you're like, but why, right? So that's the story.
But why?
Now, the story is so silly, though. Like the comedy part comes into play when it's like. So Uzo Aduba is supposed to be, or Miss Cup, she's supposed to be like, she said, okay, hold everybody. We are not letting anybody go. Everybody has to stay inside. So then they're like, okay, we're holding everybody. She's out looking at birds. She's like bird watching.
Oh, yeah.
Out in the dark. Just bird watching.
In the dark?
In the dark. It's nighttime.
So she's bat watching?
No, she's bird watching because she realizes there's a falcon flying around. One of the episodes starts with a falcon flying around. Like the falcon is just watching what's going on, just observing everything. So the
falcon knows all the information.
The falcon might know who killed. Yeah.
I understand why people say that birds are fake now.
Oh, really? Yeah, they're picking up on everything.
Because they can see everything from up high.
Up high, you get
and
the government.
What people say, the government makes the birds fly around to know what's going on or something. I don't know.
Have no idea.
I can't remember exactly what it is. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to look into it.
Yeah. But I will say that she told a story about falcons and how falcons have a keen awareness of picking out and attacking the weakest. Of anything. So even if it's 100 birds flying around, it can pick out, oh, that one has a bad wing, I'm going after it. That one has a bad leg, I'm going after it. That one is the, weakest, the softest one out of the bunch. So therefore I'm going after it. And that's what she did with the people. She gathered everybody around before they pulled the body out, like, before they took the body out in the, for the morgue and everything. And in the process of that, she was just watching everybody, trying to see like, who's the weak one? Who's the one that's going to falter? Who's the one that's going to,
I like how they use that in the show. For like basically how we are watching it, how we watch it to see who actually did it, blah, 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 blah. But she's watching it to see who's the weak one that she could take down.
Yeah, and she would always do things out of like unorthodox, right? So every single thing that she did, you're just wondering like, well, why are you asking this? And she was just like, she won't tell you anything, but she has a very strategic plan to it. And so, what else was it? It's been really good.
It looks like it's good, but I'm also trying to figure out why is there so many detective in like
what do you mean?
Shows?
Why are there so many detective shows right now?
Yeah.
That is an excellent question.
I had a thought about this like last week, I think it was.
Okay.
And I was wondering why there's so many medical shows and so many detective shows.
Okay. And your answer?
I wonder if we have so many medical shows because people watch it because nobody goes to the hospital because we can't afford it in America.
I don't think that's it.
So it's like, hey, we're going to show you how to do stuff on your own at home.
I don't think people are not going to the hospital because I mean, I had to go in there for something, not like for me personally, but just to be, and waiting room was full and things are happening in emergency rooms, and that's probably the most expensive place to be. So
I mean, yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I did want to say that there were two people that I forgot to mention are part of the cast. Al Franken, who was on Saturday Night Live. Remember, he was like, "You're beautiful and you're special, and Darsh Garnet, you're such a such." You don't remember Al Franken? And then he became a senator.
Oh, cool.
But he was he's a senator they're investigating what happened at the White House. So the whole premise of this is like you're looking back because of the fact that there are questions being asked by the Senate of the people who were involved in the investigation. Okay. And so therefore Al Franken and it's another actress who is playing like the like she's his antagonist, really. Okay. So every single time she'll just cut off and be like, hold on, wait a minute. So let me get this straight. Yeah. So she wanted to pull everybody together to go and stand in the foyer of the White House while she went bird watching to go figure out what a falcon was doing for her to come back in and figure out.
Answers or something? Huh? Does she normally have all the answers?
Who?
The one that you're talking about.
The one that was the senator? The female senator of Al Franken's
She's the one that, is she the one like...
No, she's just...
I'm going to go against you, but I have all the answers. I know that...
I think
she didn't know it all.
I guess at first you do start to feel like that's the case, but then you realize that she's like, all of a sudden she's just on, the investigator cup side. Like she's like, oh yeah, this woman's a genius. Like I love her. Okay, cool. Like, she's great. Like she's doing some weird things, and I'm here for it. So, but anyway, so it's an interesting show. But the other person who is in it that I forgot to mention, and I haven't seen him in anything in so long, is Julian McMahon. And he is from Nip Tuck.
Okay.
You know, the one that was like the most outrageous. The one that was calm and then the one that was outrageous. So he plays the prime minister to Australia. Oh, wow. And so, so it was kind of cool to just see him because I hadn't seen him.
Seen him forever, right?
Right, exactly. So I just wanted to give him just a little shout out for being in there as well. But yeah, it's a full-fledged cast. I mean, I can't say it's all-star per se, but it is definitely a cast of people that when you watch it, you're just like, oh my gosh, I know that person. Oh yeah, I know their face. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen them in forever. Yeah, exactly.
That's so anyway, cool that Shonda Rhimes is giving people opportunities.
Yeah, definitely. But it is a ride. I'll just say that. And it's been a lot of fun to watch and see the dynamics of everybody. And plus trying to figure out, because everybody is like, oh my gosh, I love the head usher. He was amazing. He, was our advocate and he was this and he was that. But you're like, Lord, one of y'all killed him because...
Yeah, because y'all can't say y'all like them. That's what he did.
Mm-hmm. And then just trying to figure out what all happened to have that be the end result. And so I'm only a few episodes in. I haven't gotten all the way through it yet. So hopefully it won't disappoint at the end. You never know.
Yeah, sure.
You never know. But anyway. All right. Well, it's your turn, sis. What do you have next?
All right. So the next thing that I have is, it just came out not too long ago. It's called The Electric State.
Okay.
Now, I watched this because I was like, oh, it's a good cast. It's got great people in it. And so you have Chris Pratt, who plays Keats. You have Millie Bobby Brown, who plays Michelle. Mm-hmm. You have Woody Harrelson, who plays Mr. Peanut. Oh, okay. You have Ke Huy Quan, who plays Dr. Amherst. He is the guy from the husband of Michelle Yeoh from Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yes.
Oh, okay.
You have Woody Norman, who plays Christopher. And then let me see who else is in here. Oh, you do have Stanley Tucci, who's playing a bad guy, and he is Ethan Skate. And you also have Giancarlo Esposito as Colonel Bradbury.
Is he in that too?
He's in this
everywhere.
He's everywhere. So what it is it's an apocalyptic world in the future. Okay. Right. Well, actually, yes. So
our future is always apocalyptic.
Yeah, I think all of our future is apocalyptic. But it is. Let's say it's right before the war starts. So what it is that we have all these robots that are doing jobs for us that we don't want to do. So You get like, how you go to a restaurant and they have like the little robot server that
I
brings
had that
around
today.
stuff? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So like that. Mm-hmm. But so you have a whole bunch of robots that are restaurant robots. Then you have robots that are toaster robots. You have robots that are Roombas. You have all different kinds of robots. But they also have AI. So now they're human. They're like they feel like they're human. They're tired of the humans telling them what they need to do. Why can't they do what they want to do? They just want to live and be, what they think what they in their head think is the greatest thing for them. Okay. So yeah. So now I want to say it's like 4 years before or 3 years before all of this.
Okay.
All of the war. So you have the boy, the brother, Woody Norman, who is, what was his name? Christopher? Yes, Christopher. So you have Christopher, and then you have Millie Bobby Brown's character, because they're brother and sister, Michelle, and they're at a school, and Christopher's taking a test. Millie Bobby Brown is at the door. She's like making faces at him and everything. So now the professor's like, looks at Christopher, sees him sigh. Okay. He's like, yeah, it's kind of hard, isn't it? He was like, no, actually, I'm just done. Gives the stuff to him. It's like, Christopher is a genius and he's trying to go to college. Okay. And he's like, I don't even want to do this. He was like, everybody thinks that I'm a know-it-all and blah, 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 blah. So he's hard on himself because other people are hard on him because they're haters. Okay. Now, Millie Bobby Brown's character, girl being Michelle, she's like, I don't care about other people. I just want you to do your best and you need to go to college. So you're going to college, blah, blah, blah. But he bumps into somebody who's in the military. So you know how like, they have the people trying to get you to join the military all around. Bumps into somebody who's in the military. The person looks at his shirt and was like, you trying to be funny about this? And it's because his shirt has Cosmo on it. Cosmo is a cartoon robot.
Oh, yeah.
But now
the Jetsons Cosmo?
No, different. So now it is a back and forth between, like, this is the starting of the back and forth between the humans and the robots. So now this officer, not this officer, but this Army cadet, or however you want to say it, he is looking at the shirt and he is upset. He's like, how are you going to wear that shirt? You think it's funny? Like, we are going to war with all these robots. And he was just like, I just like the shirt. Like, right. I like the TV show. It's a cartoon. Yeah. And the thing is that is Michelle and Christopher's thing. There's a handshake that the robot and the girl do together in the cartoon that the boy is now doing with his sister.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's like their little secret handshake. Now, while all this is happening, it's this is just the beginning of this apocalyptic time. Now we're going fast forward, and now Michelle's in school. They have these headset things that you put on, and when you put them on, you can it's like VR plus you can control your robot that you have personally bought. So you know how like Elon Musk has all his robots, his Optimus robots?
Yeah, Optimus, yeah.
Okay, so just imagine that, but it's like also a combination of the movie Surrogate, to where you put the headset on and now you are in the robot's body.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's like that, but they are created. Those Stanley Tucci's character has created those because of the fact that he is trying to say that the only way to fight robots is with robots because they don't sleep, they don't have to eat. Humans all need all these different things in order to survive, where robots are just pieces of metal, metal oil, circuit boards. So basically, it's basically that. It's that headpiece thing being something that you can use to do the military for these robots, but now people are using it for bad. And as all this is happening, Michelle is now in school, and they're like, all right, everybody put on your headset thing. And she's like, yeah, no, I have this condition where I can't put that on. No, she said it's against my religion or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it said, but it's cute how she says that. Now, what happens is she leaves there. She sees like this robot thing. The robot thing is trying to get her attention. And it ends up being that her brother's body is now inside this robot. Nobody can understand how, but she's like communicating with it back and forth. And it's like, yo, I'm your brother. Like, I don't know what. So now that she knows this, now she finds out from this robot who's supposed to be her brother that he is not dead. So her brother and her mother and her father were all supposed to have died in a car accident. Oh. She was supposed to be the only survivor. Apparently her brother, I guess they used his brain or something like that.
For a robot?
In order to be able to, I don't even know how to explain it, but in order to be able to, his brain is the key to control the headset that controls the robots.
Oh, goodness.
It's a whole thing into this. But the thing is that they're trying to get to the place where all the robots are created at. And that's where the brother is. So that's the whole show, is them trying to get there. Now, in order for them to get there, there's this one guy who's a tractor-trailer truck driver. Mm-hmm. He was in the military and everything. So he can go in and out of these two types of zones. Now, they're like, okay, what we have to do is we need to hop a ride with him so we can get into the zone to get to my brother. So that's where Keats comes in. That's where Chris Pratt's character comes in. And he's the one who... He also has his own robot who is pretty cool. But it's just them two trying to get over and into the area where they've tried to put all of the robots together. It's like a no man's land where the humans have put all the robots together. So then that way they don't have to fight them as much. It's like a robot prison, I guess. But it's like a land area.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's just the fight to get to this area in order to, save her brother, who she thought was dead the whole time. Chris Pratt, his whole character of trying to help them and also being upset because he doesn't really want to help them because he's tired of fighting robots because he's been doing it because he's been in the military fighting them for years. So it's cute how it's all put together, but I will tell you this, it took me like 3 times to watch it to completely understand everything that was going on. So.
Oh, like you watched it all the way through 3 times?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, it was good. I thought that it was going to be better than what it was. Let's say that.
Oh, okay. So recommend it or not?
I mean, watch it, but I mean, it did not keep my attention, but it's not saying that it's not going to keep somebody else's attention. Maybe it was too sci-fi for me because I'm really not into the robot, AI, all that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what it is. But I mean, it is a good movie. It just wasn't the movie for me.
Okay.
So, but yeah.
Yeah, people are into all of that. They might.
Yeah, if you're into robots, stuff like that, absolutely. I wanted to watch it for the cast. If I ever see a cast that has a lot of people who I think that are good actors and actresses, or funny actors and actresses, or anything like that, then I would definitely watch it. But not necessarily saying that it is good. I just think that some actors are really good at acting.
Yeah, that's true. That's
true.
Yeah,
so it's called
make a bad movie good too. Sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Depending on the actor. So
exactly. So it's called The Electric State, and you can watch it on Netflix. Yeah.
Cool.
What you got, sis?
Well, I have some hot topics. Yeah. So I wanted to start with a rest in peace to George Foreman.
Oh, no, not me.
You didn't know?
I didn't know that George, and George Gina.
All the Georges, yeah. And
George Jr., George Jr., Georgette,
Georgina. Yeah, all of his children were named George. Yeah. And so, yes, he passed away on March the 21st. No reason for death was given, but George Foreman, I owned a George Foreman grill. Had that.
I know. I feel like George Foreman grills were the best
invention
since
ever.
The bread maker.
He was able to live off of that money. I know. Probably even now.
Yeah, it was just a griddle and plastic. That's all it was. Yeah, a griddle and plastic.
Whoever came up with it, because then you had all these other people coming up with the same idea, but because his was the first, or at least the first we're aware of. Maybe it was just the first endorsed.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, so, but George Foreman, he passed away. He was 76 years old. He, of course, was a legendary boxer. Big George, he would go by. He actually got into boxing in the 1970s, and he defeated Joe Frazier. So that kind of got his name on the map.
Joe Frazier.
Yep, exactly. And then he, after defeating him, twice, or defending his belt twice, he actually ended up facing Muhammad Ali in 1974 with the Rumble in the Jungle. And everybody knows about that. And so that was one of the most memorable boxing matches ever.
It has to be like one of the biggest things that was... what is it? Advertised.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother country that you're in.
Yeah, you're in Africa, right?
For the boxing.
Yeah,
crazy.
And he won in the 8th round with a TKO, and I think that's where they coined the phrase too, rope-a-dope.
Rope-a-dope. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
because... Hit him with the rope-a-dope.
Yep, because what you do is you just get somebody against the rope and you just pound them. So you're just like, just beating a person up against the rope. And that's why a lot of people
punches were so hard on the bag, you hear echo throughout the building.
And that's what they said about George Foreman, that he had a pounding punch as well. He ended up retiring. He became an ordained minister. He retired in 1977. Like, that feels like...
How do you retire in 1977, but I know you for being a boxer?
Well, because after 10-year hiatus, he came back in his 40s in 1988.
Need some money, gotcha.
And I know, right? Before the George Foreman grills came out. So he decided to come back into boxing. He boxed for 5 more years and then got back his title.
Oh, wow.
At 45, beating 26-year-old Michael Moorer.
That just tells you that it's a skill. It's not endurance.
Yep. He became the heavyweight champion again in 1994. So he definitely made history with doing that. They said his record was 76 wins, 5 defeats, but 68 of his 76 wins were knockouts. Like, that's how powerful his punch was. And then, of course, he had become a preacher, so he was actually preaching at a church of late. And then he also, of course, had the world-famous George Foreman grill that he came out with as well. And, I mean, that was just like, you might as well be printing money. Like, that was amazing. It was so many, so that's when the heat and the height of infomercials was happening. Yeah. And so, therefore, it was like, of course, that and Thigh Masters. I mean, what else did you need? Right?
Exactly.
So that was all you needed in life. So anyway, just wanted to say a rest in peace to George Foreman.
Absolutely.
The other thing I wanted to share is that finally, the astronauts that were stuck in space.
Oh, they're coming home?
They are home.
Oh, they are home now?
They are
I bet you their legs feel like jelly.
I was trying to figure that out. They said there's a long road of recovery for them to get themselves, to where they need to be. But basically, the 2 astronauts spent 286 days.
Yeah,
so
that's almost a year.
Yeah, almost a year, right? And
for a 2-week mission?
For I forgot how long the mission was, but it wasn't that long for sure.
I was just going to check out the space station.
It was Barry Butch Wilmore and Sunita Williams. And so SpaceX sent up the Dragon capsule, whatever that is, to go and get them after 286 days in space.
We need to do better.
There were 2 other people who were on the shuttle with them as well. So it was a 9-person crew, I guess, that came back or something like that, I guess. I don't know. No, it was crew 9, sorry, the commander. So Nick Hogue, and he was a Russian cosmonaut, and Alexander Gorbanov, I guess is how you say his name. But they landed off of the coast of Tallahassee, Florida on Friday. I think it was Friday at 5:57 p.m. It might have been. Oh, no. It wasn't Friday. It was Tuesday or Wednesday. Yep. So anyway, they aged. I can't even think of the right.
Oh, yeah. They aged a lot.
They aged a lot.
Yeah,
they showed before and after pictures of them being up there, and it does not even look
like the same.
I mean, it.
Well, I mean, you don't have. I mean, I guess it would be different. I feel like your skin would be different because gravity's not pulling on it.
But
like you don't have any.
You would think you might look younger. But like, I mean, but even gray, they're grayer.
Oh wow. Well, that's probably because they're like stressed out because they're not with any of their loved ones.
Yeah, and you're just wondering, am I going to make it back?
Yeah, am I going to
yeah, so maybe part of that is what it is, but they were just saying that the environment just created it such that they were, just aged. But yeah, so they're back home. They said that it will take extensive rehabilitation over several weeks and months for their bodies to readapt to the unfamiliar tug of gravity, because they haven't felt gravity in, like they said that, they opened up the hatch and they were able to feel the sunshine, because you haven't seen, the sunshine like on the earth, at least. And you haven't felt it in the same way either. You haven't had air. Like it's like all these, I mean, you've had air, but not like, air, outside air.
You've had canned oxygen.
Right. And they said that the two of them were the last ones to get out of the shuttle. But I'm trying to think, how did they even have the strength to get themselves out of it? So I didn't see any video of them actually getting
They probably didn't do a video
because
it was probably...
I was going to say they may have actually needed some assistance and some help. But yeah, so they are back. So thankfully they are, hopefully going to be,
I bet they're like, I retire now. I'm not going to be an astronaut anymore. I spent enough time in space for everybody.
I'm pretty sure that they are set. Like they should, I mean, you basically left me up there for almost a year. And yes, I understand that something happened, but like we should never have to work again in life.
Yeah,
like,
but I mean, that's
our country.
But that's going to be our taxpayers' money that's going to go to them, correct?
I don't know. Probably, but it's worth it
because it's all funded by different.
Let's have Musk pay for it, because he was the one who should have had his spaceship go back up there and get them quickly. Anyway, well, I think that he was the one having issues.
Yeah, he had issues with his spaceship.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, so anyway, so I wanted to share information in regards to that. And I mean, I'm just trying to think like what it would feel like to literally float around for almost a year. Like, you have to be strapped down to sleep, like all of that kind of stuff. Like that just to me seems like it's...
Well, they say that when you go in space that your heart changes form.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Because like when you're on Earth, the gravity's pulling on your heart, so it makes it droop down. But when you're in space, it's more of an oval.
Oh, so I wonder what their hearts look like. I wonder if they'll do an experiment or test.
Well, like I'm thinking once you get to whatchamacallit, the gravitational pull is going to pull back down on it. But I don't think there's a way to do a thing to see.
All I know is they're going to be poked and prodded. I am sure, because they're going to be like, we've never had anybody in space that long. So what's your blood look like? Do you have more oxygen or less? What does your bones look like? Like what is the calcium levels that you have? And what about your potassium? And what about that? Like I can just imagine that they're probably like running all these evaluations and tests on him just to figure out like, because even if we all don't have to go to the moon or, but we may have to go somewhere in space one day if Earth doesn't, isn't able to contain and, be able to keep us, then all of the things that they have experienced, like what would a year in space be like for us? So, I'm pretty sure that they're being poked and prodded.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. And then the last thing I had really quickly is that there is a woman who told her story about being a Canadian who was deported by ISIS.
Oh.
And so she was telling her story.
There's been quite a few of those.
Yeah, where she said that... or ICE. I said ISIS. I didn't mean ISIS. ICE. And so she was saying it was for 2 weeks. She felt like she had been kidnapped, that she basically was taken and patted down like a criminal. She had a work visa. They didn't honor it. They just told her that she needed to talk to a lawyer. They put her in some little tiny, like cement cell. She was there with other people. Most of the people didn't speak English. So she was like, I was trying to, talk to people and make friends, but, there was a few people that she could just because they did speak English. But she said every night, like the lights were off, they would give you food, but she was scared to eat it because she was like, are they just going to try to kill us? Then they don't have to do anything with us and nobody will ever know. Yeah. So she was like, I didn't really want to eat, but then I was there for 2 weeks. So
you have to eat.
Have to eat. So she said that she couldn't really sleep. They, what did she say? I think she said they never turned the lights off. We didn't know what time it was. We didn't know if it was day or night. No one would answer our questions. She said that she tried to either sleep or meditate. so that she wouldn't have a breakdown. She said that she realized that she wasn't getting any phone calls. So they were like, yeah, talk to your lawyer. She's like, well, how am I going to talk to my lawyer? You're not giving me a phone call to be able to call my lawyer, right? And she said that she did end up finally making some new friends with some women who had risked everything for the chance for a better life for themselves and their families in America. But she also said, look, when I finally told my story, it's now making it to all the media and everything. She's like, but these folks their stories aren't being heard.
Yeah,
Nobody
because they're not
about
Canadian.
their stories, right? And they're not going to be able to call their lawyer and have their lawyer do things. So she's like, I don't know how long they're there, how long they'll be there. So she said that the thing is that she's trying to use her voice and her platform because of the fact that she's like, I need to be the voice for the people who can't speak for themselves because of the fact that they just don't have any money or resources or even know who the right people are. So she just said that she should have also been released earlier. That's what she had said, that my ICE agent told me that he had, of course, never spoken with her the whole time she was there, but said, oh, your lawyer could have had you out sooner had you just signed a withdrawal form. And that they hadn't known that she was going to pay for her own flight home. If they had known she would pay for her own flight home, they would have gone ahead and sent her. But most of the people there couldn't afford to pay for themselves to get back. So that's why they were just continuing to detain them. And so anyway, it just sounds like a terrible, terrible situation. And so they also said that companies are called Core Civic and Geo Group. They are government funded based detainment centers. And the Core Civic made $560 million from ICE last year, just in 1 year. Geo Group made $763 million from the government, from ICE last year in contracts. So it's like, it's almost $1 billion, $500 million and almost $1 billion that these companies are making for holding people. So they're going to continue to hold them. And that's why the prisons are also monetized like that, right?
And independently funded.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to share that story that, this is a person who's kind of telling her story. Her name is Jasmine Mooney, Mooney, if you wanted to, find out more about her story. But all right, that's what I have for hot topics.
Hot topics.
What you got, sis?
All right. So for my last one, I want to do this show that I've been watching on Hulu. It's called Interior Chinatown. All right. So, just to go over the cast, so you have Jimmy O Yang, the comedian. He's playing Willis Wu. You have Ronnie Chang, who also is a comedian. He's on The Daily Show. He plays Fatty, who is his best friend. You have Chloe Bennett, who plays Lana Lee, who is a detective. Sylvan Jones is also a detective. He plays Miles Turner. Lisa Gilroy is a detective and plays Sarah Green. You have Archie Kao, who plays Uncle Wong, who owns a Chinese restaurant. The parents of Willis Wu are Diana Lin, who plays Lily, and Z Ma, who plays Joe. Let me see, who else do you need to know? I think that's pretty much it. Well, no, you do need to know the brother. The brother is Chris Pang, who plays Jonathan Wu. All right, so here's what it is. Here's how it goes.
All right.
You have, I know, it's kind of cool how the show is all set up. So you have Willis Wu, and he's making his own detective show in his head, basically.
Okay.
But it's I don't know, because I mean, it's in his head, but it's not in his head to kind of say, because
I'm confused already.
I know the show is confusing. Okay. It is confusing to watch, but anyway. But all right, so he's making up his own show of his life, and he keeps being able to have redos and retries until he gets things exactly right. Okay, so it's like, cut. All right, no, let's try that again. Let's start over again. But it's not that way. It's not like a cut. It's just like, no, you just walked through the door, but you didn't do that scene right. So now we need you to walk through that door again. Mm-hmm. That kind of thing. So basically, we have this young dude, Willis, and he looks up to his brother, Jonathan, right? So Jonathan was trained by his father to do kung fu. And, you know, they live in a tenement in Chinatown where there's not much work to do. Well, not much to do around there, but you can either own a business or you can work in a restaurant or, you know, something family owned in the Chinatown area. So now his brother ends up working with the police. And it's like when you're trying to find out what's going on with the brother, it's like watching his TV show of his life. Like he's the main character. So, and things go awry and now he ends up missing. So you're like, okay, so the show is about the brother and being missing. Okay. No, that's not what the show is about. The show is about you seeing the brother being missing, but then Willis, the main character, it's his show about him being able to find his brother and make his own show. Him being first person in his own life, basically. So it's
the main character in your own story.
Exactly. So now he went from the main character in his story being his brother to now the main character in the story being
himself.
Yes. So it's just how he all does that. So they definitely make it like Law and Order where they ask, you know,
Doom doom.
Yeah, like where they have. It's so funny because when they do it, where it's like a Law and Order type show, the color of the whole set changes to like this deep bluish type coloring all around, and you know, so and then they'll come in and be like, okay, so now we need to talk about this case and blah 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 blah, and then like Willis is standing to the side talking to Lana Lee, like, yeah, so. While they're talking about this crap. So look, we just found out that this happened and that's why my brother is missing. So they're actually putting stuff together about Willis while the other two detectives are actually trying to solve a case for this show that is in their head, I guess. Okay. But it's kind of cool how each person has their own show and like their own thing that could make it like their own show for like their life. Like Fatty and Carl, they could have their own reality show on like a social media type because of the social media. Because from Willis working in the restaurant and then trying to figure out what's going on with his brother, Fatty and Carl work in the restaurant with him. Okay. Now with that happening, Willis is like, "Hey, Carl, cover for me. I mean, hey, Fatty, cover for me. Carl, you know, help out." Carl is just a go with the flow. He's like, all right, cool. As long as I'm included, I'm cool with it. Fatty is like, I hate everyone and everything. Why are you doing this to me, Willis? Why would you tell me to go and talk to customers? You know, that's the biggest pet peeve that I have in my life. So now he goes out to customers. He's like, what do you want? Like, that's how he asks them. What do you want? And they're like, oh my God, such and such is going to love it here. And he's just being rude to people. Now the business is booming. Because he's being rude to these people and all of these people that are moving into the community because of gentrification are like, oh, we have to come in here. Because he's rude. So now he goes and he's like, all right, let me get the day together. He goes and he gets dressed and he opens up the door and he looks and he's like,
why are these people here?
Why are you all here? Like, this doesn't make any sense. So now he's mad at Willis because Willis is doing his own thing, but he's having to cover for Willis. But he doesn't realize he's now being his own character, like first person character in his own show, because now everybody is like excited to see him because of how rude of a person he is.
God. So it's you know, there's a place I went to in Chicago that's like that called Dick's Last Resort. Yeah. And that's what it is. You sit down and the people treat you like crap. Yeah. They can be so rude and so nasty. And you're just sitting there like, I just want my food. And they were like, well, can you make up your mind? Yeah. I'm just tired of like, I got stuff to do. Yeah. And you're just sitting there like, okay. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Okay, so yeah, you just get used
that's
to
how that's how Fatty is. Wow. Right. So now you got Willis's mother, Lily. Now Lily is trying to get over the loss of her son. And she's trying to figure out who she is. She was always the kid's mother and the father's wife. So now she's trying to figure out who she is, and she goes into real estate to do her own thing. So now she's doing her own show on the side. Now, Willis can be.
Where's the father?
The father is there. He's also dealing with the loss of the son as well. He's kind of in his own depressive state. But I think his depressive state is maybe I pushed him too hard or, you know, something like that. But his is not, I'm sad. I'm sad that my son is gone. And I miss him. It's more of what did I do wrong to make, with this, just, reevaluating
himself.
Yeah. Now, Willis can't be the person that he wants to be in his own reality show. So that's how it starts off. He's like, man, they're so cool. I want to be like them. So as the show goes on, now you can get to see him become the person that he really wants to be. And it's so funny because once he gets into that whole mode, there's one episode where he's doing ads.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of ads?
Like he's trying to be a detective to figure out what's going on with his brother, and as he's doing that, then they'll throw him something. He's like, "What do I need to hold this for?" And then he goes straight into a commercial. It was like such and such, the best drinking water you can find. Yeah, but it's like because it's like a TV show. Yeah. You gotta put your own commercials in there. Yeah.
Pay the bill.
Yeah, but when you first watch it, you have no idea where it's going. You're like, "What is this? How do I even know what any of this crap is?" But it ends up being funny. Okay. It's a lot of hidden messages, but still really not knowing where it's going from the beginning reminds me of WandaVision.
Okay.
How when you first watched it, you're like, what am I? It's a 30-minute episode. I don't understand what I just watched. Okay. So it is like that, where it's like you don't know for sure what's happening until the things actually start happening, I guess. It would be, yeah, I guess that's it. But it's, I think that it has like subliminal messages where it's like, don't worry about other people when you need to, go ahead and worry about yourself and your own life and not anybody else's.
Worry about yourself, as that little girl says in her car seat in the car.
Worry about yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So, but no, that sounds great. And I mean, it's so true. We do have to focus on ourselves more so than we were just talking about this today, worrying about what other people think and what other people are going to say.
And what other people are doing.
No, it has nothing to do with you. What other people say about you is none of your business.
Exactly.
And that is the note for today, everybody.
All right.
So have an amazing, amazing week. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.